Hi, welcome to another episode of Unboxing Entrepreneurship with Pallavi. D2C is the buzzword right now, and it may seem that running a D2C bootstrapped company might be extremely challenging. Yes, it is. But we are going to talk to someone today who will share her experience with running a D2C business for the last 10 years. And I'm sure you'll take a lot of insights away from this. Let's get right into our conversation with Stuti Desai, the founder of FancyPants store. Hi, Stuti. Welcome to Unboxing Entrepreneurship with Pallavi.
Hi, Pallavi. Nice. We finally managed to be screen on screen.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining the show. And, I think it'll be an interesting conversation because D2C is such a trending kind of, word right now. Everyone wants to know what it takes to launch a D2C business and more importantly, what to do to sustain it. So before we get into the
Correct.
topic of what we're going to talk about, why don't you tell us about your business and, what the journey has been like for you?
Okay, so I'll start with myself. I am 32 years old now. We started FancyPants almost 10 years ago, my sister and I. Um, Basically, both of us went to college abroad to pursue different things. She always wanted to be an entrepreneur. She studied entrepreneurship, and I always wanted to do something in communications. So I did a media culture communications along with creative writing and psychology, kind of to get a holistic education.
Yeah.
What came out of it though was that when we were, she was in Boston, I was in New York. At the time, we used to meet up a lot to shop and, really have fun with fashion because we used to go out a lot. That sort of became like our bonding experience. And when we came back, we realized that that is just completely missing from this ecosystem. Of course, 10 years on now, it's not missing, but still, when we
Yeah.
started FancyPants, it was missing. And I feel
Yeah.
like it is still missing the very like essence of like the fun with fashion. Like now, because of Instagram and social media, it's very much become about like showing what you're wearing rather than maybe, doing it for yourself. So at core, we still believe that the whole point of FancyPants and the whole vision of FancyPants is to encourage people to have fun with fashion, but in a way that they really enjoy. So suppose you enjoy wearing something that need not necessarily, bring you like a crazy amount of accolade, but
Mm.
you really enjoy it and you feel like you're having fun today wearing it. That's what we are all about. Yeah, because it became such an innate part of, I think, how we see ourselves through our fashion.
Yeah, awesome. So you've been in it for a very long time. Did you always start out with a website or were you selling it offline?
No, so actually on our YouTube I've covered this, but what happened is that when we started online, everything was new. There was no
Yeah.
Shopify.
Yes.
Um, and our first website was, I don't know, took maybe like a year or something to make because there was no automation, there was no customer experience, there was no user touch points, there was none of it. It was just that people come, you put a product, they add to cart, then it takes like a while to load and stuff like that. So we started out mainly on Instagram.
Yes.
And at that time we used to get queries and 2 3 orders a day, and just we used to get the order, pack it ourselves, keep it ready for the pickup.
Yes.
So not at all, we didn't have razor pay, people weren't comfortable making payments online. Courier services weren't really doing COD so easily.
Mm.
So it was all like a challenge, so we pretty much grew like before the big D2C wave. I mean, the D2C wave is pretty recent
Yes.
in that context.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was very challenging, which is why our audience till date is super super organic, because it's just people who found us when we were basically nothing. Like we didn't have anything going for us except for what we were trying to embody.
Yeah, yeah. I like how you phrase it that, your audience is quite loyal because that was the time where you literally had no bells and whistles. It wasn't like that it was one of those fancy e-commerce website where if you leave something in your cart, then you get a discount message and all of those nudging and
Yeah.
all of these all order tracking. You were literally it was really just about the product that you were selling, and that's
Yeah,
that's really what your audience was.
yeah, and those strategies didn't exist. The whole customer acquisition game that we are all playing now,
Hmm.
that didn't really exist at all. It was just about the product and the demand for the product.
Yeah.
And yeah, so as in we've evolved through it, but till date, I feel so uncomfortable. I just am so averse to like giving big discounts or doing these clearance sales or anything. I'm super
Hmm.
averse to it because I feel like, first of all, from the branding perspective, it's not
Hmm.
as effective, or I don't want people to just wait for discounts. We are selling what we are selling. The price is
Hmm.
justified, and we do everything from our end to keep prices minimal, because that is at one of the core missions of the company, to keep it accessible.
Yes.
Um, at the same time, at the same time, one of the challenges we do face is that there's just huge wave of customers wanting crazy discounts. Like, I get messages that things are 60-70% off, and I'm like, how are these businesses making money? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, that is what I really wanted to explore today. Because you have, as a D2C business, you've gone through two phases. One before the D2C became, as I said, a buzzword. And that was really just very recent, right? 3-4 years, pretty much in COVID was when
Yeah.
people became extremely comfortable with shopping online. And
Yeah.
because that was the only way to do, right? And that's where all of these big unicorns and other D2C brands came about, because they realized that, hey, there are people who are willing to shop like this, and let's ride on that wave. We don't need to be listed on a marketplace where we have to pay 40% commission. We are better off having our own website. So you've had, I guess, a different viewpoint. You've had two viewpoints of it. Where do you see, like, what do you feel are the challenges now, given that it's extremely competitive? You mentioned cost as being one of them, but do you face any specific marketing challenges now that everyone is in D2C e-commerce?
So the marketing challenge, I guess, is the biggest challenge that you have to conquer in terms of the current D2C landscape,
Yeah.
because your customer is getting bombarded with ads.
Mm.
I was trying to buy, I'll give you an example. I was trying to buy a present for my friend's kid, one is a 6 month old and one is a 2 year old or something like that. So
Mm.
I just Googled it. And then on Instagram, what happened is that in the next 2 hours only, I got like more than 50, 60 brands, I think,
Yeah.
targeting. And I don't realize it because, like, the usual, whatever, skincare, fashion ads I keep getting. So I feel like, oh, this must be happening to everyone. But
Yeah.
you realize the power of it when you search for a completely new category or something that you're not being targeted to, and
Yeah.
suddenly you get targeted. You realize how competitive it is.
Mm.
Like, it is absolutely ridiculous. And I feel it was a humbling experience for me, because I
Yeah.
feel like everyone who's buying from FancyPants, I really need to reach out to them and ask them that, out of the 50 million ads that you're seeing, how come you're making a purchase with us? Because that's valuable data. That is what is
Mm.
making you choose us.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming back to your question about marketing challenge, I think it's a very delicate, very, very delicate balance
Mm.
between how much you spend. I meet so many entrepreneurs who are just starting out with ads, and they are paying their agencies like a ridiculous amount of money.
Yes.
They don't count that in their ROAS. They just
Yeah.
count like, oh, I spent 1,000 and I got orders for 5,000. My ROAS is 5x.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but like, I feel like that's not how your numbers should read.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very delicate balance. In fact, till right now, like when I have my monthly MIS or something, what I'm trying to figure out is how to consolidate in terms of like agencies, channels, avenues,
Mm.
whatever, anyone who I'm paying, how to consolidate that,
Mm.
and still keep the same results, because that is key, I think, because everyone
Yes.
promises really amazing results. And if you view all the platforms separately, they will be giving you amazing results.
Mm.
It's just that for one transaction only, all of them are working.
Yeah.
So, they are all taking credit for the same order. So yeah, that is the challenge, I think, in marketing right now, where there are lots of tools, but you
Yes.
need to start slow. You need to check which tools work for you, and you need to see that what is the overlap and attribution, because there is a
Yeah.
huge overlap and attribution, at least from what I study from my data.
Right, right. So, that's one part of your marketing where you are actually running ads, and as we know that you're competing with 1,000 other brands who are probably putting in a lot more funding than you are. And that is a common challenge that any bootstrapped organization faces. Having said that, because your business has been around for a while, um, do you feel that there is a second component or other components of actually retaining and getting new customers? I mean, I feel from a human perspective, there has to be an element of customer loyalty. There has to be an element of customer experience, right? That
Yeah.
actually keeps and brings in new customers. So, what do you feel that you are doing and in that area, and what really works for you?
So in terms of customer retention, we do a lot of outreach, just reaching out to them, getting feedback from them. We put ourselves out there a lot. So
Yeah.
we are on our own social media. People feel
Mm.
like we are, accessible, because you're not buying from a brand that doesn't have a face, or, where you don't know
Mm.
who's behind it. You don't know who is, why we are getting what we are getting, why we're selling what we're selling. So kind of just to communicate that ethos, I think.
Mm.
Also, we go out of our way to help clients in our industry, right? Like a lot of, especially with our focus on resort, we get a lot of orders and stuff where people need to be like, oh, I need this by day after, or I need this by
Yeah.
tomorrow, something like
Yeah.
that. We go out of our way to do all those deliveries,
Mm.
because you can't actually do that with a Myntra, Nykaa, or anyone. You can't call them and be like,
Mm.
oh, I placed an order, but I want it by tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that human touch, or that, we will even call them and be like, oh, if you're from Chandigarh, we can't do Chandigarh next day, but we can do Delhi. So they'll be like, oh yeah, my friend is coming from Delhi, so you ship it to her. So
Mm.
we do everything in our, then the next time they know that, okay, if there is anything, then they are giving me, just service basically is
Yes.
a great differentiator.
Mm.
Apart from that, definitely products go, or there are some products that we don't even like advertise for, like they're on the
Mm.
website and they just
Mm.
sell out so much. Then we do
Mm.
also do a feedback loop in terms of what has probably gotten even less clicks in terms of landing pages, but higher conversion. So there are all these technical things that you can do
Mm.
to find
Yes.
out that what are repeat customers buying,
Yes.
because very good insight into what is really, really working, and what is that second purchase communicates a little bit more, because
Yes.
people already have confidence at that point. Price point, quality, delivery, all that is out of the way, right?
Yeah.
They've already been with the brand, they've already had the brand experience. So at
Mm.
that point they're buying more for like product.
Mm.
They also buy something that is more expensive. So that is, I guess, very good insight in terms of um, what that customer that can eventually, become loyal or become like a brand ambassador sort of. What are they looking for?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs do miss this low-hanging fruit that yes, it's important to get new customers because that's what is, increasing your brand awareness, and that'll help you scale. But once the person has made a purchase, how else can you get them to buy more from you, or increase the ticket size? And I think that is where the analytics and the strategy comes in, that you have to have a portion of your budget which is acquiring new customers, and then you have to have a portion of your budget which is looking at retaining and reconverting older customers. What would you say to that?
Yeah, so just to add a little bit here, I think that now people are starting to realize, like, first the wave a little bit was performance marketing and ads, and
Yes.
now the wave is retention,
Yeah.
because people have realized that the amount they're paying for customer acquisition cost has
Yes.
to get split between different orders. Like if I'm paying,
Mm.
suppose, 500 rupees to acquire a customer, if they
Yes.
make two purchases, that's 250. If they make three purchases, that goes one third. Like they need to, like, you need to figure that out. So we calculate our return customers monthly, quarterly, half yearly,
Mm.
which is the only way to do it, because Otherwise, you don't have a real picture, or like you can't take all your orders, all your customer acquisition and divide by the number of customers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That is too like shallow analysis in general.
Yeah,
But yeah, the new wave, as I understand it, is retention. Everyone is now about retaining customers, which is why I guess just service and stuff like that has become such a big part of. It's also the only way to compete with like third-party giants like
correct.
your Myntra and stuff, because
Yeah,
their philosophy is discounts.
yes.
And for us, if clients are willing to pay full price and they are buying from the brand page and stuff, then they have to be given that extra service or that extra, I mean, something in exchange, I guess, of them trusting the brand.
Yeah, yeah, and like you say, it is the only way to differentiate. Given a very crowded marketplace. Sorry, I actually had I was doing a session with some student entrepreneurs, and one student asked me this question that how do I define my USP if I don't have a brand new product? Or something that is vastly different from what already exists in the market. How do I ensure that I differentiate myself? And I answered him in the same manner that customer service is also a differentiator. Maybe that's something that we don't
Yeah.
normally think about. But when we are the customer and when we are treated nicely, we do intuitively go back to that brand as opposed to someone else. And I think that for entrepreneurs is very important to understand that your differentiators is not necessarily the innovative way that you have made a product or a service. It's a lot of small different things that add up to bring new customers and kind of retain that loyalty.
I also feel like, as in just I feel like customers also want to be loyal, because in this space of just having like hundreds of brands,
Yeah.
literally, I want to be loyal. I want to have a good experience and I want to go
Hmm.
back to the same brand. Then like I'm sorted in that field then. Like I
Yes.
don't have to go out and like look for new brands. Going back to that example, like I bought toys for my friends' kids. Now the next time I have to gift, I'll just go back to the same brand because I had a good
Correct.
experience. And this thing,
Hmm.
like, why will I waste my time looking at 50 other brands and thinking that, nah, I want to buy for someone else now?
Yes.
you know
Yes.
I, in skincare and all, yes, maybe, but
Hmm.
again, so many categories. If it suits you, if you had a good experience,
Hmm.
especially in ours, something like swimwear, or
Hmm.
you buy a bag that is 5,000 rupees, that is great quality, that everyone complimented you on, you're going to go
Hmm.
back and you're going to come back to us. I feel like it's not that hard
Hmm.
to crack customer loyalty, because customers also are inclined to be loyal. Like, why
Yeah.
don't they want to be happy? They want to be happy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, Stuti, I think the conversation with you, I felt was a very nice balance because you came across as a very sharp businesswoman. You're looking at your numbers because every business person has to do that. Every founder has to do that. But you also understand how people make decisions. The human behavior side of it. And I'm sure that whatever you have studied has really helped to have a very balanced approach towards your business. So, what are you looking forward to this year? What's going on new in your business? Are you looking forward to anything?
So, with FancyPants, actually, I am still planning to focus online.
Yeah.
I did think that omni-channel was the way to go, but right now with one store, I feel like our store does phenomenally well. So offline does really well for us,
Mm.
but the potential definitely lies online.
Yes.
And I have again been very wary of third parties and stuff. So this year I am definitely looking at really cracking that. So we are on a Geogram, Mintra, Nika, just to
Mm.
increase the top line. And at the same time, we are looking at some really fun like product lines.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going head on into manufacturing a lot of resort. We're doing a lot of quirky things that are not necessarily just the same thing, that we're not being like, oh, this sells a lot, let's just make this.
Yeah.
um that
Mm.
approach we are taking to third parties and stuff, but then with FancyPants itself, we're going to do a lot of experimentation, and I want to grow product categories. I want to like do different things. Cracking
Mm.
Gen Z is like a huge challenge.
Yes.
um
Yes.
And yeah, so I think that one of the challenges that we do face as founders also is that the brand kind of, because it reflects us. And when we started, we were 22. So
Yes,
it was selling stuff that 22-year-olds wanted, then it was selling stuff that 25-year-olds wanted, then like 27-year-olds
yes,
wanted, now I feel like the collection reflects a little bit more maturity also. But the biggest challenge we have now is that how do I still retain that 20-year-old? So I think that a lot of learning in terms of just the new generation and how to keep a brand young when us as founders like are growing up.
yes.
That is quite a challenge, but that is fun because like we get to hire a younger team, and
Mm.
that is always quite entertaining.
Yeah, yeah. I totally understand what you're saying. I'm in digital marketing, so and at my age, I would not be doing the reels that other people are doing, but
Yeah,
have to do it, and then of course I have to get input from a younger team as to what is really trending and what I should be putting out there and
yeah.
what I should be telling my clients to do. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and just as in perspectives, the perspectives are fun because you just feel like, oh yeah, you know what's it, and you know anyway what is trending and stuff because that's my job. But
Mm.
you don't really understand like the thought behind the trends,
Yes.
like they have like bizarre things going on,
Mm.
where they are just, some day they're standing up for this, and the other day they're standing up for this, and then
Mm.
like all this
Mm.
is happening. So yeah, it's fun. I think that even the difference between urban and rural is becoming
Mm.
narrower and narrower,
Mm.
which which is, I don't know if it's good or bad, but in a way of targeting, in a way of the language you're speaking, it really makes a difference because we again try to do ads that are in Hindi and Punjabi and stuff like that,
Mm.
to reach a different audience. And we still
Mm.
found that the English ads, but like with a little bit of regional language thrown in,
Yes.
um, gets that, gets the most response. So just the audience is very, very hybrid.
Mm.
Um, there are the same people who are wearing like really hot dresses, but there are again like the same people who are dressing traditionally, maybe at home or
Mm.
when they go out with family or they want to be. We get a lot of people also who are conservative swimwear does so well because
Mm.
people want something that like is a skirt at the bottom, or shorts at the bottom, or whatever. So that
Mm.
consumer is modern but still retains like a part of their conservative maybe family values and stuff like that. So that is quite
Mm.
challenging to
Mm.
crack, especially when a
Mm.
product category like that we don't expect
Yeah.
takes off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so lots of scope of innovation even just in what we're already doing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So sounds like a fun ride, and I wish Fancy Pants and you all the very best for for
Thank you,
whatever you
thank
have planned this year. And it was very nice talking to you. I feel like we skimmed through a lot of different things because there were just like so many insightful depths that we could have gone into. But today I really wanted to talk to you and just get a lay of the land of how a D2C brand has evolved and kept up with different trends that have come about. But would love to have a chat with you in much greater detail at some other time. But thank you so much for coming on the show today.
thank you, Pallavi, this was lovely.
All right.